In today's video, we're going to be looking at how you can create your own episodic manga or comic. Let's get straight into the video. First of all, what is an episodic manga or comic? An episodic manga or comic is the type of story where every volume or chapter can be read as if it is a standalone book. However, all the books together still make up a bigger series. In an episodic story, it does not matter which order the volumes are read in, and they can all still be enjoyed as if they were a book on their own. There are various popular manga series like this, such as Case Closed and Pokemon. How do you create your own episodic manga or comic? Number 1. Create a long-term story goal. Create a story goal that would take a long time for your characters to reach. They may need to learn some things or develop more as characters before they achieve this goal. This goal has to be very far in the distance of your story so that it will take a long time for your characters to get there, and then you can include lots of smaller episodic volumes or chapters in the middle that can act as standalone stories as your character is working towards the main goal in the story. You could also make the main goal something very broad, such as the characters wanting to discover the meaning of kindness. And then in every volume and in every episode, you have your character discovering something that is related to this main goal. So in a way, this main goal is found more as a result of all of the episodes that have come before it. In many manga or comic series, usually once the characters have achieved the main goal of the story, that is when the story comes to its conclusion and things wrap up. But in an episodic story, this is not always the case. In an episodic story, it's more important to focus on the journey rather than the end goal. This is why in an episodic story, the goal will usually be something more broad, as I mentioned before, such as the characters finding the meaning of kindness, or discovering something else about the characters or the world around them. And it won't be something that will be easily achieved or really definable. That goal might be something really broad that comes as a result of them finding out many things throughout all of the episodes. Number 2, write every episode as if it's its own story. To make your manga/comic episodic, write every chapter or volume as if it's its own standalone episode. It is up to you what part you choose to make episodic. In most cases, for an episodic manga or comic, every volume will act as each episode. However, you can also do this method if you're having it as every chapter. Maybe every chapter works as a standalone volume as well. Whichever it is, decide which kind of episodic story you want to create and how you want to present that. Although every volume needs to be working towards a main goal in the process to help tie things together, every volume or chapter should be able to be read and enjoyed as a standalone book. And a new reader who may be discovering your book should be able to pick up any volume or chapter and be able to read it and enjoy it without having to read any of the chapters before it. This is why in an episodic book, it's also really important to make sure that the setting or the power system remains consistent over each episode. If there are really important details in the world that need to be mentioned, then you may want to mention it through the character's dialogue at the beginning of the volume or chapter, or just make sure that those details are always consistent in your world and that they do not change. You will notice that in a lot of episodic manga, such as card game manga series, they will usually mention the rules of the game at the start of the volume, just in case a reader is new to the volume and they aren't familiar with those rules. In this way, the manga series can be picked up and enjoyed with any volume or chapter, and the reader doesn't have to have any prior knowledge of the series. Number 3, use each episode as progress towards the main goal. In every episode, ensure that it makes progress towards the main goal in some minor way. It may help to develop the characters more or give more information about the world. It could also act as training for your characters to gain new abilities and powers. Whether the main goal of the story is something really definable or if the main goal is something a little bit more vague, your characters should always be making consistent progress towards that goal in every volume. For example, in Pokemon, the main goal is catching all of the Pokemon. There wouldn't be an episode or a volume within that where the main character goes, you know what? I'm gonna take a break from finding the Pokemon today. In every episode, the character still discovers a new Pokemon and learns more about them. This remains consistent over every episode and volume, which means the character is still consistently working towards the goals. This is the same case with other episodic stories too, such as a mystery story where the character needs to be a detective in every episode and they need to solve a new mystery. or series which are more described as monster of the week type of stories where a character needs to fight a new monster in each episode. There will still be consistency towards your character's goals, but every episode will have something a little bit different that makes it unique and stand out from the rest. Number 4. Create a wide cast of entertaining characters. Create a wide cast of many interesting and entertaining characters. This can help to keep a story interesting over a long storyline. Please keep in mind that the more characters you have, the longer your storyline may be. So if you want to make your story longer, then add more characters. But if you want to make your story shorter, then make sure to have a slightly smaller cast. Also consider adding a new character in every episode of your manga or comic, just as a special character for that part. It's not something that's required, but in certain storytelling, such as mystery stories, this is usually something that is necessary, because with new characters means new mysteries that can be presented. Adding more characters means more storytelling possibilities, but it can also make it a little bit harder to keep track of, so only add as many characters as your story will need. And this amount really depends on how long and how detailed you want your story to be. Number 5. Create a reoccurring situation. Establish a reoccurring situation that your character is involved in. In every episode, your character will likely find themselves in this same situation. This helps to maintain consistency over multiple volumes of your story. For example, in a mystery episodic story, the main character usually acts as the detective and solves a mystery in each episode of the series. This reoccurring situation will need to be different depending on the kind of episodic story you want to create. But consider your characters in the storyline and what situation may need to keep happening in your book to help maintain consistency over the course of your book. Thank you so much for joining me in today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know what kind of episodic stories you're creating because I would love to hear about them. I always enjoy episodic stories, especially episodic mystery stories, which have a different mystery in each part. I think it's a really fun way to pick up and enjoy a story and know that you don't need to read the whole thing in order to keep track of what is happening. Thank you again for watching. I hope you have an amazing day and I will see you in the next video. Bye!